Welcome back on this Monday. Let's get right into chapter 11. It's a short chapter, so we're going to read through all of it. And this short chapter reminds us that, and shows Pharaoh, Moses does, how there will be just yet one more plague. Verse 1. The Lord said to Moses, "Yet one plague more I will bring upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterward, he will let you go from here. When he lets you go, he will drive you away completely. Speak now in the hearing of the people, that they may ask every man of his neighbor and every woman of her neighbor for silver and gold jewelry." And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants and in the sight of the people. Before telling of the plague, the Lord tells Moses how awful it would be. How awful will it be? Pharaoh will allow the people to leave at that point. Not only that, but they're to ask their friends, their neighbors for jewelry, the Egyptians, and they will give it to them. They will plunder them in that way as they leave, and we see that happening later on. It's a showing, God knowing what will happen before it happens, and he shows and demonstrates his foreknowledge and his power over all things. Verse 4. So Moses said, "Thus says the Lord, about midnight I will go out into the midst of Egypt, and the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on the throne, even to the firstborn of the slave girl who is behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of the cattle. There shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there never has been, nor ever will be again. But not a dog shall growl against any of the people of Israel, either man or beast, that you may know that the Lord makes a distinction between Egypt and Israel. And all these your servants shall come down to me and bow down to me, saying, 'Get out, you and all the people who follow you.' And after that I will go out." And he went out from Pharaoh in hot anger. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Pharaoh will not listen to you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt." The plague would be the death of the firstborn in all the land of Egypt, from Pharaoh to the smallest human and animal. What animals were left after the other plagues? They would be put to death because of this horrible plague that would be coming down. Doesn't say much about that plague, but just that the firstborn will die. But he also sets a distinction against, showing that how this would not happen to Israel. Verse 7 says, "But not a dog shall growl against any of the people of Israel." In other words, nothing bad will come upon them. God will protect them through this time of struggle and difficulty, so that you may know that the Lord makes a distinction between Egypt and Israel. That distinction is that Israel was God's chosen people. God would deliver them. They were to trust in the Lord in all things. Verse 10. Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's hearts, and he did not let the people of Israel go out of his land. Kind of a summary of the first 9 plagues that happened and the result of them, that Pharaoh would not allow the people to leave. He's really preparing for chapter 12, the actual plague that would come upon them, the death of the firstborn, and the instructions for Israel for being kept safe from this time, to allow the Lord to pass over. Yet one more plague, where God's power will be shown, where his divinity as the one true God, the one true and living God over all the world, his power will be shown. Come back tomorrow and we'll take a look at that great chapter. God bless.